Hello Whovians and welcome to my latest Doctor Who review, where today I review the very beginning of Sylvester McCoy's second season as the 7th Doctor, which is season 25 of Doctor Who. Remembrance of the Daleks. Once again, shout out to Nicholas Payne for lending me the DVD. Thank you very much, Nick. So, Remembrance of the Daleks. Well, the basic plot of this story is as follows. London, 1963. The Doctor returns to the place where it all began, alongside his latest companion, Ace, with unfinished business. Not for the first time, unusual events are unfolding at Coal Hill School at 76 Totters Lane. The Doctor discovers that his oldest foes, the Daleks, are on the trail of a stolen Time Lord technology that he left on Earth long ago. The Daleks are planning to perfect their own time travel capability in order to unleash themselves across the whole of time and space. Well, Remembrance of the Daleks. It's been a very interesting road so far with Sylvester McCoy's era, to say the least. I wouldn't say I've enjoyed it so far. I pretty much disliked the first 3 stories that he did. I thought Dragonfire was okay. This is not the first good Sylvester McCoy story, unfortunately. It is the first great Sylvester McCoy story. Yay! Whew! Sigh of relief. Finally, this is a great Doctor Who story. Remembrance of the Daleks. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I really liked it. I thought, finally, this is where Sylvester McCoy's era begins. It took a whole season for us to sort of endure, but we finally have a great story from Sylvester McCoy's era. Thank the Lord. Hallelujah. The story itself is fine. You know, it's decent. It's kind of interesting. It's a very action-heavy story, which I like. The Daleks are pretty ruthless here. I wouldn't say it's quite as dark as Resurrection of the Daleks, which was from Davison's era, but I still thought this one packed a punch. It was certainly a very fun, because this is the last Dalek story of the classic series, so very sad. They went out with a bang, they really did. There's definitely a lot more effort that's been put into this story, and you can see that plainly. Sylvester McCoy, I think this is definitely his best performance so far. He's definitely playing it a bit more straight this time. It's a bit more serious, and I think after season 24, which was, well, quite frankly, a mess, I think it was good to tone down some of the comedy that he had in his first season, and I really like him here, and I definitely like his relationship with Ace. They have a very strong friendship here, and it really carries through. Sophie Aldred as Ace is even better than she is in Dragonfire. I think that she's wonderful in this story. At first, she doesn't get too much to do, but then as the story goes on, she does get more heavily involved, and she develops a bit of a crush on one of the characters. She develops a bit of a crush on Mike Smith, who is a soldier. He's one of the soldiers in the military, because they don't come across a unit, but they come across these group of soldiers led by this colonel. Mike is one of those people, and he ends up kind of deceiving the Doctor and Ace Ace, you know, admits that she liked him, and so that's all very sad. It's quite emotional in that regard, but Mike is a decent character. The actor Dursley McLinden, he's good. He gives a serviceable enough performance, and he definitely takes a shine to Ace, so there's definitely some chemistry there, but sadly it is not to be. The very end of the story is really moving when they have his funeral, which I thought was very touching. The Daleks themselves, I think, are actually really quite menacing here, especially the Renegade Daleks. I mean, look at the front on here. Look at all 3 of those Daleks. The design of them is incredible. Really is incredible. And they actually built a massive Dalek ship. Well, sorry, it's a shuttle. It's life-size. They really actually spent a budget on this story. They really made the effort to make this story look good. And I appreciate that. For me, there are only a few minor criticisms, and one of those criticisms has to be Davros. It's not that I hate Davros. I like Davros very much in the story, but he just doesn't get very much to do. I mean, they reveal him at the end of part 4 to be hiding inside this Dalek shell. I mean, why is he hiding? I don't get it. Like, there's no need to have hidden Davros. He could have just been there orchestrating the whole thing, which I think would have made more sense. I mean, because his voice is kind of instantly recognizable from for even when he's hiding. And Terry Malloy, he's good in the story. He's definitely trying his best. I mean, he does shout a lot of his lines, but he's not as shouty as he is in Resurrection of the Daleks. But I just felt like he was very underused here. If you're going to have Davros, then use him. But they don't use him enough, and that's one of my criticisms of the story. I also found at times the pacing dragged a tiny bit. Not too much. You can get through it. It's only 4 parts long. But I did feel at points, I was like, come on, this is a little bit tedious. Let's just get on with it. It's not paced like a rocket. It's paced good, but I just think a couple of sections they could have lost because it does drag a bit. But aside that, it's really good. And I also like the performance from the girl, who doesn't actually have a name, but the actress is Jasmine Breaks. She's being controlled by the Daleks as well as Mr. Ratcliffe. She has quite a few physical things to do in the story, and she doesn't really have any lines as such, but she does convey a good enough performance. She has a good amount of conviction with her performance. The only thing I don't get, though, is, and I'm sure somebody will mention this in the comments, how is she able to electrocute people? Didn't quite understand that. But yeah, I do like the character of Mr. Ratcliffe. I think he's played well by George Sewell. And the two female supporting casts, Rachel, played by Pamela Salem, and Alison, played by Karen Gledhill, they're very good in their respective roles, and they certainly get involved. I mean, Rachel gets quite irritated by the Doctor at certain points, which I think is quite funny, because I think she just thinks that he's a know-it-all, and he's kind of, he knows everything. And of course, Gilmore, played by Simon Williams, he's very good. He's a very commanding presence in the story. The action spectacle of the story is really impressive, and it really is something. It really feels like they're going back to what made the show great. They are trying their hardest to forget about season 22, forget about season 23, and especially forget about season 24, and really home in on what made this show great. And this is why they've played it more seriously. It's a bit darker, it's more suspenseful. There's a great action scene when Ace is running through a building and she's bashing the Daleks with a baseball bat, and she's then backed into a corner by 4 of them. It's an amazing scene, a really great scene, and it actually shows how tough Ace is. And I love that line she says when she says, "Who are you calling small?" She's just so spunky. She's a real tough cookie. I really like Ace. I think she's going to be a fantastic companion going forward, and I'm going to enjoy her. I think I really am. I think Sophie Aldred gives a great performance. And also I like the fact that the ending leaves Ace questioning their actions. When she says to the Doctor, she's like, "Did what we do was good? Was it good?" And the Doctor says, "Only time will tell." I think that's a very interesting place to end, because you can see from there that almost the Doctor is slightly changing now. You could see he's getting a little bit dark, and I think it's only gonna go further with the rest of this season and then season 26. I do also really like the music score. I think the music score is a lot better than it was before. And also, going back to Coal Hill School is nice. You think it would be forced fan service, but it is actually quite nice. And I do appreciate it. So overall, I really enjoyed Remembrance of the Daleks. I'm not going to say it's perfect. I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece, but I can see why people really love this story. And it is definitely the best Sylvester McCoy story so far. Oh yeah, easily. Easily. So I'm going to give Remembrance of the Daleks a 9 out of 10. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't give it a 10. I just had a couple of nitpicks with it. But overall, a very good entry indeed. So that is my review of Remembrance of the Daleks. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of this story. And stay tuned next time when I review The Happiness Patrol. Sweets at the ready, folks. Sweets at the ready. Yeah, I think we're going to have to call the Candyman. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this review, and stay tuned for my review of The Happiness Patrol. And until next time, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. See you soon. Bye for now.